Good morning, everyone. My name is Rashida Strober. I am the world's first and only dark skinned activist. The reason why I emphasize that I am the world's first and only dark skinned activist is because over the last 10 plus years, I've had people, black women, black men, come on to social media, listen to my commentary, listen to my videos, go to my website, and plagiarize my work, my ideas, my intellectual property. And so before I even start my commentary on any live that I do, I always have to let it be known that I am the creator of the conversation on social media regarding colorism, and that people that are considered and that are supposed to be my own black people have for years ripped off and stolen my original unique ideas that I started way before YouTube, social media was ever even thought of. So let's go back. Back in 1998, I started the first platform in history to ever fight to end colorism, what some people call colorism, but I call it darkism. And I started this movement from my heart and soul and my experience growing up as a dark skinned female. I didn't start it by looking at somebody's YouTube video because YouTube didn't exist. I started it from my own life experience. So, to the plagiarizers, when you are plagiarizing my work and ideas, you're actually plagiarizing my life. There was no dark skinned activist. There was no YouTube in 1998. There was no social media. So in 98, I had the opportunity to speak at African American History Month, otherwise known as Harambe, at St. Petersburg College. And that is when I gave birth to the first movement in history to fight to end colorism, known as dark skin activism. And that is when I became the world's first and only dark skin activist. And dark skin activist is my brand name. I own the trademark. And I started dark skin activism with that particular talk on dark skinned women during African American History Month. Dark skin activism consists of the books that I write about only dark skin, the plays that I write and perform about only dark skin, and the commentary that I created from scratch about only dark skin. I've been doing this work once again since 1998. My website is darkskinactivist.com. Once again, darkskinactivist.com. Once again, that is darkskinactivist.com. You can go to my website and download a free ebook copy of my book entitled Darkism, 25 Ways Dark Skinned People Are Discriminated Against. My other books include A Dark Skinned Woman's Revenge, which I also wrote the play version of A Dark Skinned Woman's Revenge, which I'm going to get to that in a moment to tell you about a performance reading I'll be doing at the Atlanta Black Theater Festival. My other books include How to Be the Hottest Dark-Skinned Chick on the Planet, which is the first motivational book ever written for dark-skinned females. My other books include Token Dark Girl, the It Dark Girl of the Moment, which is the first book written to analyze dark-skinned women in popular culture. My other books include an audio book that I released on YouTube years ago called The Dark Skinned Girl's Triumph, the Rashida Strober Story. In around 2015, because I just want to fast forward because I want to get to my commentary, but I also want to give you a backdrop to the history of how this whole colorism conversation came onto social media and the internet. In 2010, backtrack to 2010, I created the first colorism channel on YouTube, on social media, and it took a moment for me to gain some traction. So around 2014, I was contacted by a man named Tommy Sotomayor, who's no longer on YouTube, who I actually did end up suing regarding intellectual property theft, but that's a whole nother story. But back in 2014, he reached out to me via Facebook and said, "Hey, I want you to come on my show and talk about your dark girl agenda." Apparently, one of his followers had been watching my social media, and they went and told him about what I was doing. But I want you to understand that all I did was take the movement that I created before social media existed and I brought it to the internet. and it started to gain traction. So in 2014, Tommy Sotomayor contacted me, asked me to come on his show, and that's one of the ways in which people started to know, okay, what is this dark skin thing she's talking about? After I ended up going on to his show back in 2014. Fast forward to 2015, I went viral for calling out the rapper Kendrick Lamar's Darkism, because it was a contradiction in terms of him rapping about complexion issues, skin tone issues within the Black community, but not marrying a Black dark-skinned woman. And so I called that out, and boy, that post went viral. The important thing to understand is I was already doing this work way before social media existed. I just brought it to the internet. So that post went viral, and it made me social media famous back in 2015. For example, Charlemagne in the Breakfast Club made me Donkey of the Day for calling myself the dark-skinned activist. But a funny thing happened. Black people started to mock me after I went viral. They said I was nuts. They said I was crazy. But Black people copied me. Black women stole from my work, stole from my ideas, as well as Black men. And they began to talk about colorism. And while I have no problem with people talking about colorism, the problem is people stole from me. And to this very day, there are Black women on YouTube. There are even Black female celebrities that are using colorism where they never used it before the movement that I created. And I know that these people got these ideas, whether they acknowledge or not, from the movement that I created. Because prior to me creating these ideas regarding darkism and colorism, and darkism is the word that I coined and created because I felt like colorism did not go far enough to address the unique discriminations that dark-skinned people face. But prior to me creating this platform, dark-skinned Black women weren't talking about their experiences being dark-skinned. They didn't care. They only cared about it after I went viral and saw me get attention for it. And then they understood that you can use YouTube to make videos and monetize it. And so Black people have done me dirty. And I will say this to the day I die, because I'm telling nothing but the truth. You can do your research. You can fact find on what I'm saying. Everything I'm saying is the truth. So with that being said, I'm going to move into my commentary, because I am the dark-skinned activist and I created this commentary. This is what I do. I look at the world around me and I address the darkism that takes place in different spheres of life, whether it be on television, whether it be in the churches, the schools, it doesn't matter. As a dark-skinned activist, the world's first and only dark-skinned activist, because it's only one. I don't care how many people copy me. It's only one dark-skinned activist. That's Rashida Strober. I address darkism. I deal with it head on. Good morning. So before getting into the commentary, I want to let everybody know that I will be performing a performance reading of my play, A Dark-Skinned Woman's Revenge, at the Atlanta Black Theater Festival on September 1st. And as you can see, I have that information up on the screen. I'm also still looking for sponsorship. I want to say thank you to everyone that has donated. You can go make donations to my Cash App, my GoFundMe, or to my PayPal. And all that information is in the description to this live. You can also find the information on my website, darkskinactivist.com. Once again, darkskinactivist.com. Once again, that is darkskinactivist.com. My Cash App is $RASHIDALALA, $RASHIDALALA. Once again, $RASHIDALALA. And I'm going to put that Cash App inside the chat because I do prefer the Cash App. You can find my GoFundMe by Googling Rashida Strober GoFundMe, and the GoFundMe will pop right up. And once again, I want to say thank you to every single person that believes in my work, my ideas, the authenticity of my ideas. I want to thank y'all for donating. So let me get to Ready to Love, this Ready to Love commentary. Let me tell y'all something. I love the show Ready to Love, which is a show produced by Will Packer on Oprah Winfrey's own network. The reason why I love Ready to Love is very simple. It aligns to the objectives of dark-skinned activism, which the chief objective of dark-skinned activism is to bring the Black man back to the dark-skinned Black woman in balanced numbers. So let me break that down, because a lot of people will listen to me speak and they will lie on me. They will put words in my mouth, but you're hearing it direct from the horse's mouth. I am not saying that all Black men will and should date and marry exclusively dark-skinned Black women. I'm saying balance. I'm saying balance it out, because the fact is that the original partner, the original mate of the Black man is the dark-skinned Black woman, and all that takes is doing a basic study of history. If you look at the continent of Africa, there's 1 billion plus people in Africa. That is, you cannot dispute that. That's a fact. The majority of those people are dark skinned. So it makes logical sense that the natural partner of the Black man is and was a dark skinned Black woman. Those are just facts. So to be angry with facts is like going outside fighting with the air. You're never going to win that battle. You're never going to win that war. Okay? So it's all about balance. It's all about balance. So I love Ready to Love because it aligns with my goals and objectives. It's a Black dating show on Oprah Winfrey's network, and I can appreciate the effort to bring Black men and Black women together, because racism, white supremacy, all these different factors has done nothing but serve to try to destroy the relationship between the Black man and the Black woman, and therefore the Black family. And any show on television that supports the relationship between the Black man and the Black woman, I support it. So I'm a big fan of Ready to Love. Ready to Love is probably my favorite #1 show on television, and I've been watching it since its inception. Okay, I've been watching Ready to Love since its first episode. I followed the show. But there is darkism there. And as the dark-skinned activist, this is my job. This is what I do. There is darkism that takes place on Ready to Love. And the latest episode of Darkism that has taken place, I just watched the latest episode. And to me, the Black men, a lot of y'all caused this. Yes, racism and white supremacy is at the root cause of it. But Black men, y'all tend to perpetuate it. And I feel that the Black men on this show, I feel that they created the argument between Janelle and Tequila. I also feel that Janelle, as some light-skinned women, and again, this is not all light-skinned women, so don't put words in my mouth. And I won't censor myself to make people comfortable. I will tell you exactly what I mean. But if you want to take my words and take them out of context and lie, that's your problem. But I'm going to speak what I feel, and I'm not going to censor myself. Some light-skinned women know their privilege, and they work their privilege, and they make digs at dark-skinned women, and they throw their light-skinned privilege in a dark-skinned woman's face. And that is exactly what Janelle did, in my opinion. Okay. The Black men started the darkism because it was quite apparent that they were choosing, and I'm speaking in terms of the heavyset dark-skinned woman on the show versus the heavyset light-skinned woman on the show. It is apparent and very clear that the Black men from the outset of the show chose the heavyset light-skinned woman, and that's what Black men tend to do. If they have a choice between a heavyset dark-skinned Black woman and a heavyset light-skinned Black woman, they're going to choose the heavyset light-skinned woman. That's darkism. And that's exactly what they did. And Janelle understood her light-skinned privileged position. Y'all, I made a video. I told you I've been a dark-skinned activist. Everybody's stealing from me. That's speaking on colorism. Check the channel. Check the history. I made a video years ago called Light-Skinned Women Give Up Your Privilege. And the same thing applies here. Principles I spoke about in that video, the same principles apply here. So the Black men did start the darkism by selecting the overweight light-skinned woman over the overweight dark-skinned woman. But Janelle played her role in darkism. She's a player. She's an actor in terms of this stage of darkism, the world stage of darkism. She's some light-skinned women, they are actors. And she played her position. Because when they got into the argument at the ladies' lounge, Tequila and Janelle got into this argument at the ladies' lounge. And Janelle actually did. If you pay careful attention, if you're fair, if you're honest, if you're righteous, if you're ethical, if you're moral, and if you pay careful attention, you would know that Janelle started that argument. Because Janelle's exact words to Tequila, and this lets me know she understood clearly her light-skinned privileged position among the men, that the men, if given a choice of a dark-skinned heavyset woman versus a light-skinned heavyset woman, she knew intrinsically, because of her privilege, as a result of darkism and self-hatred, that the black men would choose her. So this is what she said to Tequila to start the argument. But they're trying to make Tequila look bad. But Tequila is not all at fault here. They're trying to make Tequila look bad because Tequila got into her feelings and her emotions, and she jumped up and she let Janelle know, hey, you know, this is what it is. But Janelle actually started it. She was the aggressor. Janelle's exact words to Tequila was, don't get mad because they don't like you. I said, Janelle said, don't get mad because they don't like you. Folks, let me decode that for you in terms of darkism. What she was really saying is, because you have to understand, sometimes black people are very clever about cloaking their darkism in certain words and phrases. And this was cleverly done, Janelle, but I see you. I saw it. I'm calling you out. I'm calling out the black men on the show, and I'm not going to bash Tequila and take it out on Tequila, even though I do feel she was wrong for, you know, wanting a fight. I don't think it should have resulted in fight, but I understand where she came from because it's hidden darkism. Okay. I remember the Tom Joyner morning show used to have a segment called Hidden Racism. This is hidden darkism. Y'all see how I just did that? I gave Tom Joyner credit for where I got the phrase hidden darkism. You black men and women should take note, the ones that's plagiarizing and stealing the work of the world's first and only dark-skinned activists. You're not the dark-skinned activist. You'll never be me. You'll never go back in time in 98 and create a movement that wasn't even cared about or thought about. You're not the dark-skinned activist. Back to the point at hand. So when Janelle said to Tequila, don't get mad because they don't like you, what she was really saying is, the black men like the light-skinned woman over your dark-skinned fat ass. That's what she was translation. Okay? That's what she was really saying. I know that I look better than you because I'm light-skinned, and even though we might both be overweight, I'm light-skinned, I got the pretty hair, and I'm always gonna get chosen. That is exactly what she was saying. Y'all can sit up here and deny it. I'm black. I've been black all my life. I know what it is. This is my interpretation. This is the world's first and only dark-skinned activist interpretation. You're not gonna sit there and tell me that wasn't the case. It might not have been the exact thoughts, but that's how it's done in the black community. Some people are not gonna come out and say you black, fat, and ugly, but they're gonna make sure you know in other underhanded, sneaky, sly, slick ways that you're less than because you're dark-skinned. And I know I'm the cream of the crop. And truth be told, I'm gonna keep it real. And I'm not saying this because she's like a light-skinned woman. Janelle is not the best-looking female on the show. She's absolutely not. To me, facially, Tequila, I'm going off the face. Facially, Tequila has better facial features than her. She looks better than her facially. But again, black men overlook that. I told y'all black men caused this because they chose Janelle, the light-skinned woman, over Tequila. Even though Tequila got this beautiful face, that doesn't matter. She's darker. And, you know, Janelle, she's not ugly, but she's definitely not the prettiest on the show. To me, in my opinion, it would probably be Lee. Okay. But if I had to say who's the prettiest between Janelle and Tequila, and I'm not going off of skin tone, I'm going off of facial features, it would be definitely Tequila. But black men are darkest. They don't care. They care more about skin tone. So therefore, they chose the light-skinned heavyset woman over the dark-skinned heavyset woman, and created this animosity and created this problem. And another thing too, to call Janelle out, if y'all notice, what's the cheerleader name? The darker skinned bubbly cheerleader. Janelle was definitely jealous of the darker skinned bubbly cheerleader. Red, when they was at some I don't know if it was skating ring, I forgot what it was, but Red was showing the dark skinned cheerleader. She was a cheerleader for the Dallas Cowboys. I apologize, I don't remember her name. But she has this bubbly personality. She's pretty. The men seem to like her. And it was Janelle's attitude was, how dare you show her more attention than me? She was clearly jealous. So clearly, Janelle has this thing where she feels that the men should be focused on her. And I think that's the underlying light-skinned privilege. You ain't got to say it out your mouth. You ain't got to say I'm light-skinned, I look better than you. You ain't got to say that. Y'all, you don't, it's not done like that. Sometimes it's blunt. In the hood I grew up in, it was blunt. That's why I'm so blunt, because I dealt with it head on. But sometimes it's covert darkism that goes on in the Black community. So yes, Janelle did not like the fact that Red was showing the dark-skinned, bubbly, dark-skinned Dallas Cowboy cheerleader a ton of attention. She did not. She felt that attention should have been going to her. She was jealous. Okay. And I would even argue that Tequila was jealous and hurt, because Tequila did say that the men were only choosing Janelle based upon her complexion. And she's absolutely right. I can't argue with that. But that does create jealousy among women. So all y'all, all of them was, I mean, there was a tinge of jealousy with Janelle as well as with Tequila. But the men incited this. Hot Wings Rant says, you ain't told no lies. Since you've been on YouTube, this BS is right in our faces. Absolutely. Hot Wings also says, I'm reading from the chat, by the way. I'm reading this comment from the chat, and the person's name is Hot Wings. Hot Wings Ranch. Okay. Hot Wings Ranch says, light-skinned women ain't oblivious as they pretend they know they are running the show with Black men. Exactly. And that's my point. That's my point. Janelle knew exactly what time it was. She knew that the Black men was going to choose her over the dark-skinned heavyset woman because she's light-skinned. She knew. They know exactly what it is. That's why I made that video years ago called Light-Skinned Women Give Up Your Privilege. Because a lot of y'all know exactly what's going down. And it's not an exact comparison, but some of the stuff could be compared to the white women during slavery that knew exactly what was going down, and they just stood back and they did nothing, or they went along with it. So, a lot of y'all be knowing what's going down. A lot of y'all be knowing about the animosity and the anger and the jealousy and all that stuff that's going to be created. But you sit back and you still bask in your privilege that's created out of self-hate. And I wouldn't be basking in it because it's dysfunctional and it's abnormal. Your privilege came out of abnormality. I need you to understand that. Your privilege, your light-skinned privilege, came out of the mass murder of millions of people, dark people all around the world, including the Indians, enslaved Africans. It came from the destruction and theft of land. Okay. It's not something that was born of a good thing, a righteous thing. It came out of Your light skin privilege came out of pure dysfunction and evil and treachery. I'm not saying you're evil. I'm not saying you're treacherous. I'm just giving you the facts. You can get mad with the facts. You can be upset. That ain't my problem. The fact is, light skin privilege and white privilege came out of pure fucking evil. You can't convince me that in the aftermath of murdering millions of people, that people of a certain hue, as a result of that, get certain privileges. You can't convince me that that's a beautiful, wonderful thing. That's sick. So I don't know why you sit there and, some of you sit there basking in your privilege, because I wouldn't bask in something that came out of pure goddamn dysfunction. For me, that's just not what it is. But yes, that is my assessment of the latest episode of Ready to Love on OWN Network and the Darkism that was prevalent. And I just felt the need to make this video because I feel like Tequila, because she got up, because if you stand up and you say something against covert or overt darkism, you will become demonized if you're a black woman. And I didn't want that to happen. I didn't want people to just be like tearing in at this lady on social media when I can look at this and see the darkism manipulation that actually caused this, and the men are actually behind this, and no one is saying anything about it. They will just, y'all know how social media is. They will just rip somebody apart. They will rip a person apart and they won't provide the context. They won't be honest and provide the context. And for her to sit there and say that to Janelle, to sit there and say that to Tequila, she shouldn't have. She added fuel to the fire. Tequila was speaking to her in a very respectful, non-confrontational way. But everything got blamed somehow on Tequila, even though Janelle started the argument. And then, I saw some comments where when she was speaking about when Janelle would raise the issue of some of the men or a man speaking disrespectfully in regards to her body parts, some people felt, well, Tequila should be more sensitive to that. But I'm making the argument, why wasn't Janelle more sensitive to the fact that she has light skin privilege, and that's why the men were choosing her, not necessarily because she was the best looking, not necessarily because she's the best person. See, that's the thing. These people get confused because light skin privilege makes people think that they're better, they're smarter, they're nicer, they have more morals. That's insane. It doesn't make any logical sense. So if you're going to make the argument that, oh, Tequila should be more sensitive to, as a woman, to this man so-called degrading her and this, that, and the third, my question is, why shouldn't the same argument be made that Janelle shouldn't have added fuel to the fire, telling her don't get mad because the men don't like you, a comment that's cloaked in darkism? Janelle threw her light skin privilege in Tequila's face. I said Janelle threw her light skin privilege in Tequila's face. She couldn't throw it in the Dallas Cowboys cheerleader's face. She was jealous of her. But she damn sure threw that light skin privilege right up in the face of Tequila with that comment. So there you have it, y'all. That's it. That's it. That's it. And I just don't like the fact of everybody taking the side of the light-skinned woman that pisses me off. I'm not going to take her side. Because, see, I'm not a bandwagon jumper. I don't sit there and fucking kiss people's ass and agree with them. I go off of what I feel and off the facts. And I believe that Janelle was equally in the wrong. It was equal. If the producers was going to throw Tequila off the show or tell her she got to go, then they should have told Janelle to get up and go. They should have told both of them to go. Because, again, Janelle started that fight. That confrontation, rather, that verbal fight, confrontation. She started that. But she's not being held accountable. The dark-skinned, heavy-set woman is taking the hits. Like it always happens that way in the Black community. The dark-skinned woman always takes the brunts. When it come down for punishment, we always take the brunt. But I'm not going to take y'all shit. Y'all know y'all can't do that with me. You try that with me, we going to verbally fight, and we might legally fight. Let's go. Because I'm not going to take the darkism. Okay, so before I get out of here, I want to remind everybody I got a Dark-Skinned Woman's Revenge, my performance reading that's coming up at the Atlanta Black Theater Festival is going to be on September 1st. And I have all the information on the screen. You guys can see that on the screen. Let me make sure it's there. It's all there on the screen. It's all the information is in the description to this live. I'm also seeking sponsors. My goal is to raise $5,000 for this particular performance reading production that I'm going to be doing at the Atlanta Black Theater Festival on September 1st. So make sure you guys support. How can you support? You can go to my Cash App, which is $rashidalala. Once again, $rashidalala. Once again, $rashidalala. I'm also going to throw that up in the chats as well. If you want to go to my PayPal, my PayPal is icecreamladydream@yahoo.com. icecreamladydream@yahoo.com. Once again, that is icecreamladydream@yahoo.com. So you can go there as well. And you can get to my GoFundMe by Googling Rashida Strober GoFundMe. But I'm also going to put the GoFundMe in the chats. And keep in mind, the GoFundMe, the Cash App, which I prefer, they're in the description to this live. Okay? So I want to thank you guys for taking the time to listen. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you share the video. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Rashida Strober, the world's first and only dark-skinned activist, is in the building.